Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to our Leveraging AI in Your Mortgage Business. I am going to take a couple minutes and let all of you in here. First of all, we are recording this webinar, and so I'm going to send out a copy of the recording to everyone. You'll get a copy tomorrow, along with the slide deck. I also have some other handouts that we're going to be talking about with prompts and things like that. So I'm going to send copies of that out because I know we're going to be covering a lot today, and you guys are going to want to know all about that. So as I'm getting started, I want to introduce myself. My name's Ginger Bell. For those of you who don't know me, I've been in the mortgage industry for, I just always say 20 years. We stop at 20. Sue Woodard and I decided, just like, we just stop at 20. And I've developed training around every mortgage loan product, every regulation, everything that's out there. Oh, I'm going to mute everyone again. And with me, so I'm going to continue my conversation after we add this little thing here. So Ginger Bell started into the world of AI in 2021 when it kind of first started coming out, diving into 2022 and 2023. And so it's interesting all the different things you can do with it. And we're going to talk about some of that today, how you can use it in your mortgage business. And that's why when Matt and I were talking about different topics to bring for our monthly call that we do for FirstFunding, we wanted to really bring into the AI because I know we use it a lot in our business. We just had a conversation. I know, Matt, you were on the AI BI podcast that I have talking about AI and just different areas to be able to leverage it within your mortgage business.
Well, the good news, Ginger, is we are the mortgage industry and we talk about topics for years at a time until there's nothing else to talk about. So I'm so glad we finally have moved on from non-QM lending and what is non-QM lending in every conference talking about non-QM lending. Now we've entered into the age of every conference being about AI.
Right. Yep. And how to use it. And so that's what we're going to get started with. So,
Well, absolutely. I think that we're all at the beginning of this. We don't even know what it's going to look like 6 months from now, a year from now. So I'm excited about this. I am excited about this topic. Over here at FirstFunding, we're looking ways to implement it in all of the repeatable actions that we do, right? That's one of the biggest, that's probably the easiest place to start is look at your manufacturing, what is repeatable, and build a process around it with AI. So I'm excited to dive into this.
exactly. So with that, we were just talking about one of the benefits of AI. Obviously, there's a lot of different benefits, including the efficiency, the automation, decision making, data analysis, different user experiences, and so many that you probably haven't even thought about yet. And it begins with really talking about how can you take this huge, change that's happening and harness it and where do you even start using it in your business? And one of the first places to look at is really what can you do to automate some of those routine tasks? And, Matt, we always get the question, it's like, is AI going to replace us? And I know you have an opinion about that, so please share.
I hope so. Is that not the right opinion?
That was not the thing.
Isn't that the opinion we want?
And then we'll all be on a beach and we can just, yeah, it's like, that's the
Based,
goal. That's
based
it.
upon
That's what
my
we want.
based upon my morning phone calls, I hope AI replaces me. Yeah. No, so I mean, listen, at the end of the day, this is a belly to belly industry that we are in. There are aspects to our industry that we all bang our head against the wall trying to figure out how to do on a repeatable basis, like I mentioned earlier. And we are at the very beginning of this, and there is going to be a lot of conversation around AI for the foreseeable future. And I guess I would just encourage everyone to look at it as one, figure out what's going to fit you and your business, figure out what you can leverage today, and just know that this is going to be a very fluid conversation over the next 3 to 6 to 12 months, because as we get more and more into this over the next year, it's not going to be a set it and forget it type of thing. It's going to take activity and action from us on the mortgage side to make sure that it's evolving and changing with the processes that we do put in place. So, I still believe, a great mentor of mine in my former days always said, at the end of the day, This is still a people business, and I believe that. I believe that wholeheartedly. And I'm looking forward to having some assistance from it, but I do not think this is going to replace anyone in our industry as I can see it today. But hopefully it makes us much more efficient. That's what I'm kind of hoping for.
Yeah, and I think with that, and thank you for that, and that's the thing to look at is where it does replace, but I also think it's important because you say we are, we're a belly to belly business, and that trust is so important. And there was a survey. I actually just finished recording a podcast with Megan Anderson with MBS Highway, and she was pulling a survey that came out of, and it's a different name. It used to be CoreLogic, as far as 60.
Totality.
Thank you.
Totality.
Totality. And so, but she shared that from this survey, 63% of borrowers who were surveyed have a distrust as far as the loan process and loan originators and AI, that disconnect. And we're just beginning in that process. So having an understanding as far as when you can put in AI and when you need to pick up the phone and have that conversation, I think is critical. So even though it's like, oh, this is going to make my life so much easier. Yes, but does it create that trust? And where is that in the entire process? So I think that's important to be able to keep that in mind as well.
Yeah, I mean, listen, at the end of the day, if I wanted a computer to take me through the home buying process, I could probably find a way to do that on a regular basis. And that has existed for a long time. That existed when I bought my first house in 2008. That process of I could probably just do this online. This evolution that we're talking about today is just about making it more efficient. And listen, the cost to manufacture alone has gone ridiculously skyward high. Hopefully that this drives down some of that cost because that cost is based in inefficiencies, and hopefully this evolution that we're on the precipice of will drive some of that cost so that we can begin to pass along some of the savings to our borrowers and therefore make mortgages profitable again.
Yeah, and we're seeing that especially on the underwriting. So for those are the kind of things where they are using the underwriting, some of the decisioning, not all the decisioning, but some of it is driving down some of the costs.
Yeah.
So where do you begin with this? And I think it's important to understand if you're going to start implementing and start utilizing some AI in your business as far as where to start. And honestly, it starts with having an idea of how to use it in your prompting. ChatGPT is a great place to start, and having an understanding of how you prompt and how you ask and how you're looking for this information is critical, honestly, no matter what AI tool you're using. I always call it like the genie in the bottle. It's like you're granted three wishes. And, if you say, hey, I'd like to be able to fly, I mean, you might end up being a pig with wings, I mean, it's like, who knows what you're going to get. So it's important when you're doing the prompting to have an understanding as far as what that looks like and to set up those best practices. And so what I'm going to go through here is really what those best practices look like when you're doing your prompts. And so the first thing is be specific. And so when you're putting together a prompt, be very clear about what it is that you want. Do you want to have a social media post? Do you want to have an email? Do you want to have a newsletter? Do you want to have a blog post? Do you want to write to a borrower? Are you writing to a borrower who you've done business with before? All of those kind of things are important. It's just think about as if you were asking your assistant to do something. You need to give them clear directions. The same thing goes in your prompt. And you can use step-by-step instructions. There's a lot of different prompting you can use. I teach a lot of prompting. There's prompt that I use a lot, which we're going to go through in a little bit, is called a tree of thought, where you can have multiple prompts within one. And so when you do that and you have the step-by-step instructions, Matt, you can take these complex prompts and you can make them into smaller parts. And so it makes it easier for the AI, which it's a large language model. So it's like taking all this big language and it's breaking it down into smaller parts. So having those instructions very clear is very helpful, and it'll help you, and you won't be so frustrated in getting that response back. The next is how do you want to have the format? How do you want it back Do you want it to have, to where it's in bullet points? Do you want to have the three things? Do you want to have it written very conversational? What's the format that you want? Because it'll give you what you want, but you have to be very specific about how you want that to be returned. So if you're looking for a social media post and you're talking about the three reasons why someone would want to buy a house now, then you want to be very clear and say, give me the three reasons in a bullet point or in the top three, one, two, three reasons of why someone would want to buy a home now. And it'll give you that. Or if you want it to be more like a script, say, make it conversational. Write it for the, understanding of an eighth grade level. I mean, all of those things is important to be able to have an idea on the format. Now, if you are pulling information, say, for example, you want to pull information on rates or trends or market, market trends that are happening within your area, make sure to request any supporting references. You've probably heard them talking about, AI can hallucinate. And so basically what that is it's giving false information or inaccurate information. And so when you are referencing something, ask it for that reference point and it'll give you that website. Then go and check that website out. And so make sure that it is accurate information, especially if you're
This is
getting into guides.
Yeah, this is super key, guys, that are on this call. And this is really, I think, Ginger, and the last time we talked about this was maybe last week. We talked about the idea that critical thinking still needs to be a part of the process, right?
Right.
I do have in my own world, right? In my own ecosystem in here over at FirstFunding, I have seen people kind of turn in AI generated responses, and I'm like, well, this is not even the right information at all. What was the prompt and what was the genesis of you providing this information? And I know it sounds so simple to proofread and check the sources that and make sure it makes sense. But this is a fatal flaw. I mean,
Mhm.
this is number one thing that we got to make sure that we're doing if we're leveraging AI. You can't just take it for oh, I got to cut and paste and put it in there. You got to make sure that it's putting back data that is correct. And the mortgage industry has so much information out there that's available to everyone, but some of it is very dated, very, very dated.
Yep.
And so we just want to make sure that we're using critical thinking on a lot of this stuff.
Yeah. And even little things, like I was working on something the other day for an event and I put in the date of October, whatever the date was, and it put in that that was a Tuesday. And it's like, no, in 2025, that's a Wednesday. I don't know where it got Tuesday from.
Yeah.
And so, you have to correct that, but just even little things that you wouldn't even think about, you still have to verify it. And again, think about if you had an assistant that, and that's what this is. You have basically for 20 bucks a month, you've got an assistant that can do some amazing things for you, but you still have to check the work. And then limit the response length. And depending on what you want, say, I love using AI for, using things like writing blog articles. Now, you want to be careful. You want to have it right in your voice. I mean, there's just a lot of things that go into it, but you can also limit how much information. So if you don't want, and you can tell a lot of times when people are just honestly just creating blog posts with AI. And so you can say, I want it to be, 100 words or 500 words. But you also, and this I think is critical, Matt, is ChatGPT allows you to set up what's called custom GPTs. And so in my chat, I have several different types of custom GPTs. I have one for you, one for FirstFunding, and one for the podcast we do. But I have it write in, you can teach it to write in your voice. And so that's a simple thing to do is you just take transcripts of videos you've done, of emails you've written, and then you can start teaching it how to write in your voice. And you do this through your custom GPT. You can put all of your information in there as well, as far as your licensing and everything. So when you're doing this, you want to think about as you're having prompts, make sure that you're getting it to write in your voice, not just a voice. And I think that's important as well. And then refine your prompts. Try different phrases, try, different communication styles. When we first started playing around with AI, we asked it to write a social media post for a first-time home buyer and write it for at a fifth grade level. And so it was very easy to understand. It didn't have a lot of, bigger words in it. And then we said to write it for a neuroscientist. Completely changed the output. And then we asked it to write it in the voice of Snoop Dogg, and it totally sounded just like Snoop Dogg. So it's interesting that it will write in how you want it to write, which takes us to our roles and our tones. And so you can take on different roles, different tones. So depending on, what kind of business you do, you can have a custom GPT that's set up that will talk for your veterans. So if you do loans for veterans, you can have a custom GP that's set up that will talk in the language of talking to your veterans. If you do, reverse mortgages, you can have one that's set up that will talk in a tone for individuals who would be in that market for reverse mortgages.
How can I help you?
It's like, oops, I'm getting someone else. Oh, Dan, I think it is. Okay. And so it's important to know that and to keep those tones in mind. Okay, we all know at the end of the day, time is money. So we want to be able to have and use AI as effectively as we can. And honestly, guys, one of the most effective ways you can use AI is in your marketing. And so what I'm giving you, and this is a prompt you can use, you can put it into ChatGPT, and what it is a weekly video marketing prompt. And so I've written the prompt out. And I've given, and remember we talked about you can give different steps in your prompts. So this one is develop my marketing content for this week. I will give you the topic in the next prompt. Once you receive that topic, I want you to create the following content in the order I have listed. I want you to include my licensing and contact information in all items except the video scripts because we don't need it there. And then here's the information. So you can automatically put that in there if you want to. You can actually set up a custom GPT where it has all that information in there as well. Or you can just use this prompt and in the next prompt that it gives you, you can just fill that in. And I'm going to show you what that looks like in a minute. And then here's the instructions. I want you to begin with the first item. And once I review the information you give me and approve it, I will type in next. And you can proceed to creating content for the next item on the list. Begin by asking my name, company, license number, website, and phone. The video script should always begin with a hook first, and then information, and then a strong call to action with my website and phone number. And then I give it the list. Number 1, I want a video script. Number 2, once you have a video and you record a video, you're going to put it onto what? You're going to put it onto YouTube. And so it's going to write a YouTube description, and then you're going to post it onto social media. So it's going to do that. And then if you want graphics, it's going to do the graphics. And then I want you to write a blog post. Now, I believe everyone should have a very strong LinkedIn account. And I know for most of you, you do B2C, so business to consumer. However, a couple of reasons why you should have LinkedIn and why you should be writing blog posts. First of all, LinkedIn is searchable. So when you go onto Google, when someone goes onto Google and they search you for whatever reason, real estate agent refers you, they're looking on coming on board of being hired, you are most likely going to come up first in LinkedIn. And so if you don't have a good LinkedIn profile, then they're going to wonder, who is this person? So it's important to have a LinkedIn profile and then also write your blog posts, put your videos, put those things onto LinkedIn. And then an email newsletter. I think this is an area where a lot of people miss out, Matt, where they're not emailing their database. People always say, well, how often? Honestly, once a week. Because if you're sending valuable content, people are not going to be bothered by it. So these are things to think about in order to do that. Matt, I'll let you hop in there for a second.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say about the LinkedIn thing. First of all, I mean, we shouldn't even have to say this anymore. Do a LinkedIn. Make sure you have a photo of yourself up there. Because quite honestly, everything I kind of do is if you're not searchable, I don't really know if I want to do business with you.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
At this point, what are we doing? It's 2025. If I can't see who I'm doing business with and what the resume looks like online, I don't really know that I have much need to dive too much further into it. And then at the end of the day, what you're talking about with this, right? And I've talked about this quite a bit. Like I could, go back, rewind 3 years ago, Ginger. What did I tell you my number one problem was, which was getting started,
Yeah.
right? Like I know what I wanted to do in my head. I just didn't want to put pen to paper a lot of times. And really, this is like you've explained it so well, is that this is your ability to really start diving into marketing and taking action. At the end of the day, there's no reason why anyone who writes a mortgage loan should not have all this done for them instantaneously and start providing it. In the past, it was, I don't know how to edit a video. I don't know how to do a recording. I don't know where to start. All that is now removed, right? All those barriers of entry are now removed, and we have the ability to do this pretty simply. And so I would expect that we're going to have a lot of activity from LOs that have maybe not done much in the past. And going back to your email newsletter, I mean, there's not a week that goes by that I don't read the update from the realtor that closed my house, right? So when I bought
Nice.
my house in 2015, he sends out a weekly newsletter about market data local to me. It just is an interesting little thing for me to open up. I spend 2 minutes looking at it and then it disappears into the ether and I never think about it again. But I do look forward to that email because I did business with that person. So I am going to open up that email on a regular basis.
Yeah, and they bring something of value for what that looks like. Okay,
1,000%.
so a couple of things. First of all, Glenn, I know you asked if we had printed slides. I just uploaded the slides into the chat box. And so I'm also going to send out a copy of the recording and that tomorrow as well. So if you guys want to download it, you can. Okay, so I put this prompt into ChatGPT, and so you can kind of get an idea. So you see here, I have a real estate marketing GPT. That's one that I had set up. It's in my custom GPTs. All I did is copy and pasted this prompt, Matt, into ChatGPT. So now Chat's coming back and it's saying, hey, I got it. You need to give me your licensing information and you need to give me the topic because that's how we set the prompt up. So it's like, all you have to do is set that up. And I put in the topic, is now a good time to sell your home? Now it goes to it. It's writing the hook. It's giving me the body. It's giving me a call to action. And it has my contact information in there. Now you can upload that into your phone. There's a lot of ways you can just upload a video script into your phone and record that. Or, record it from your computer as well. And once you get done with that, now you take that video and you pop it onto YouTube and then you put it onto, your different social media. But what this is doing is you're going off of one topic. Is now a good time to sell my home? And it's making you, Matt, all the content that you need for the entire week. So you're
Yeah,
going
and
to
this is
record
this is
one
great.
video. That's it.
Yeah, this is great, Ginger. I mean, this is really like I love that you're doing this because this is we're all at the beginning of what this is all going to do for us in the future, right? But this is Chat GPT 101 right here, right? And this is the
Exactly.
easiest barrier to get over, to get using it and to get comfortable with it and to start leveraging it. So I think this is a fantastic, easy to follow prompt that can really create a bunch of content for LOs today.
Yeah, you get one topic and it's like, Ginger, I don't have a lot of time. Okay, you don't need a lot of time. Copy and paste this prompt in, put in a ChatGPT, put in your information, put in a topic. It's going to generate everything. And then you just have to go and you put it onto your social media, put it into your database for your CRM and do that.
I think that, if as we sit here today, probably the prompt that might be most timely for a lot of people, there's 1,000 different topics, but what does a potential Fed Reserve cut rate mean to the average borrower, right? That's content that borrowers need because they're seeing it in the headlines, they're seeing it in the news. What does it mean? And the first one to get that out in front of their market and their contacts probably will benefit from some really great interest in that topic.
Yeah, and I mean, you think about, everything that's going on right now, it's coming up in September. There's lots of conversations. You do a nice little video about that. And it also puts you top of mind because we all know that there's a lot of people that are sitting on a lot of equity in their home and also very high credit card debt. And so when you start planting those seeds right now about what that looks like to be able to help them, or maybe they have, kids going off to school or they want, I mean, we've got a lot of this pent up equity, which is good, but we also know, that there's a lot of people that probably need to make some changes, whether it's moving or tapping into that. So you put yourself in the middle of that discussion in an educational way, providing them with the information, then it's very helpful to them.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about it quite a bit, which is we live in this world of mortgage and we think we know what it looks like and we think we understand. I just went to a barbecue last weekend and it was no one in the mortgage business and everyone's coming up and talking to me about, well, what does this interest rate cut mean? Or what is Fannie and Freddie getting IPO mean? Like, it's just like you, they just don't have the information at their fingertips. And I know it's very jaded. We're very jaded sometimes because we live and breathe all this topic on a regular basis to figure out what it means. But the fact that AI can help us push this out in a very basic terms is so beneficial for a lot of people.
Yeah, I love it. So what I've done, Matt, is I put together some different tools that you can use in your business, and I've separated them into different categories. The first is marketing AI tools. So obviously we just showed ChatGPT. If you're not using ChatGPT, I would really recommend it. There's the other options with Google Bard. Do you need them both? No, choose one. Although I will tell you, I think Google Bard, and I know Fred Krieger's on this call. I know we just had a discussion about Bard, is better for some of your statistics. So if you're looking at using it for that, whereas ChatGPT is obviously more for your marketing and things like that. But there's a lot of other ones, Descript Video, InVideo, Decipher. There's all of these that are ChatGPT chunkers that chunkifies bigger things into smaller things. Midjourney has the pictures. Airtable is something that'll kind of organize things for you. Typeform will take your information, put it into different forms. So these are just different tools. The other thing I have here is different real estate AI tools. So if you're talking to real estate agents, and you're calling real estate agents, you want to talk to them about different things besides like, hey, you got anyone that needs a mortgage today? You call them and say, hey, I was just on a webinar. They were talking about different AI tools. Are you using AI in your business? Oh, well, they gave a list of some great AI tools. Can I send that over to you? So those are different things to think about. And there's a ton of different real estate AI tools out there. The listing AI, chat realtor, stagers, there's a lot of virtual staging. There's a lot that will write your photo-based property descriptions, just different things to be able to help real estate agents. And this is just a very small percentage of it.
Is there a AI to update their photos on their business card so it's not a 1987 glamour shot?
There is. I'm actually going to show that. That's a great segue. So here's some video AI tools that you can use. Different things. HeyGen is one that actually has done a pretty good job about some of your AI twins, so you don't have to record all your videos. There's Rask, which I'm going to show you. There's so many different things out there. This is just a list of different ones that you can use in your video. And then writing. Writing is another way that can really help you, whether you're writing blog posts, whether you're writing newsletters, to be able to streamline that process and automate that process. There's also a lot of great time management AI tools. CocoaNote, it is great. I'm going to use it for our conferences. I've got a couple different things I'm using for conferences and I'm excited about, which will take your notes from your conferences and it'll put them into, action items. There's so many different things that you can use as far as your transcriptions. I know a lot of you I see a lot of note takers, Otter especially on here, which records your notes and gives you those as a follow-up. So it's really cool. So just looking at different ones. So I use this one as an example in video. In video, I love a lot because you can actually just put a prompt into in video and it will create the video for you. So this uses what's called B-roll video. So it'll pull in different video and it'll create the audio, it'll put the music, it'll put the captions, it'll put everything together, and it just all begins with one prompt. And so if you want to, let's say, for example, you want to do a video that talks about buying a home in Oklahoma, then you can put that prompt in there. It'll pull in video footage from a particular town, wherever you're at, and go through that. And I'm going to show you an example. So let's look at an example here. And this is one that I did for Scottsdale, Arizona. And it's for a real estate agent. You could make these for real estate agents and send them to them and say, hey, here's a video I made about buying a home here. You can put your information in there, put their information in there, and give it to them to use in their social media, or you can post it and tag them.
Are you dreaming of a warm, fun, and comfortable lifestyle in your golden years? If so, let's take a journey to Scottsdale, Arizona, a gem in the heart of the American Southwest, offering a vibrant lifestyle that you might find irresistible. Imagine waking up to over 300 days of sunshine a year. Now, add to that the comfort of a gentle, dry climate that makes every day a delight. That's Scottsdale, Arizona for you, a city.
So I'm not going to listen to the whole thing, but I mean, Matt, that was one prompt.
Yeah, it seemed like they changed dialect like halfway through. I started getting a stronger
Stronger.
But it's overwhelming, Ginger. And someone in the chat just brought this up, which is like there's so many out there, and I don't know if you're going to hit on this in a second here, but like how are people staying up to date on them, and then how are they? I almost I compare it to my cable bill at this point. I have no idea what I pay to watch TV anymore. It used to be pretty simple, right? Like I just have a bill that came. Now I got like 17 different streaming services. I literally have no idea how much I pay for Chat GPT and this and that. Like it's just all over the place. Are you tracking any of that? And how are you staying on top of all of it?
Yeah, it's hard. And actually, it's a question we just got. Cheryl just asked, put it in the comment, affordability is becoming a real estate industry issue, not just a home buyer issue, and which ones are low cost or free. And so like this one, Aragon, this is a one-time fee. You can decide what you want to do with that. But you talked about making those updated photos. So you can make some of those AI generated photos. Aragon is a great tool for that. We're not tracking anything as far as it's just too early in the days to do that. But what I do personally is when I do register, and I register for a lot just to try them out, is make sure and keep track of it. So keep a spreadsheet of it, because if you don't, and it does transfer over, most of them we're seeing are honestly running probably for like these kind of things, $20 a month, but the $20 a month quickly add up. So I think you have to really look at, am I really going to use this? And is it time saving? So is it saving you time? So if you're saying it's $20 a month, but it's saving you, 100 hours, then that's worth it. So those are the kind of things you just have to figure out what that looks like. And then set yourself a budget and just say, I'm going to try out, two. Some of them, they will do a monthly, some of them are a yearly. I signed up for one the other day, and it was like 75% cheaper if I signed up for the yearly, and the yearly was like $79. It's like,
Right.
what, I'll do that. So those
Right.
are things you kind of have to look at.
And we are going to get to the place, I'm sure, just as any other industry, where the free, it's going to look like it's free.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. They're going to get you in for the free trial or whatever it is. And it's going to have a look and a feel of something that looked and feels as free. So and listen, I am sure that, like I talked about how I kicked this off, every conference, everything that we do for the next several years is going to be AI based and everything like that. Right. So, this might be a good time to crowdsource your feedback, which is talk to people that are using it effectively, that are using it effectively. What tools do they like? What did they try? And what didn't work for them? And I think you'll be in a better position.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so another tool I wanted to show is called Rask, and this is an AI audio and video translator. And this one, and again, it's improving. It's definitely gotten better over the last 6 months, but it'll take any video that you do and it'll dub it over into another language. So I'll give you an example of what that looks like. This video was recorded in English, and then it was dubbed into Spanish.
Pensando en vender tu casa, desglosemos el impacto financiero, que incluye impuestos sobre las ganancias de capital y otros factores a tener en cuenta. Al vender tu casa, podrías obtener una exclusión de ganancias. Si has estado viviendo en tu casa,
So it's one of those things, doesn't line up perfectly, but if you're looking for a solution that you're going to, if you want to record in English, but then you also want to have it, dubbed over into Spanish, that may be something to do as well. If you serve, both of those, I do recommend at least speaking that language because you want to make sure that it's being translated correctly. But that's just a cool tool to be able to do that. I see that like for your educational videos, maybe where it's not you talking so much, Matt, that would be very beneficial to do something like that.
Yeah, perfect reason why I'm talking about critical thinking. Don't just convert it and then figure like it said exactly what you thought it said. Like make sure, like do some QC check on that for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so the next one I want to talk about, we're seeing a lot of these out here now where they follow up on your calls. So this is Macy 365, and it is a follow-up system. And this one is really cool. And when you think about follow-up is probably one of the hardest things that we do, Matt, no matter where you're at in the sales process. We know, 2% of sales happens on the first contact. 80% of sales require 5 to 12 follow-ups, and 44% of salespeople give up after just one follow-up. So having someone who can do that follow-up, and this is one of those areas that I think is good to say, does this make sense to put it into my workflow? And so Maisie 365 does that.
Hey, Catherine, this is Maisie, the AI loan coordinator from ABC Mortgage. Karen Shaw asked me to give you a call. How's it going? Hi, it's going fine. That's great to hear. So I'm calling because home values in Atlanta have increased significantly recently. This means you might have more equity in your home that you.
So this is an example of a refinance, and then this is a texting. So they also do texting as well. And so this is one of those things, upload your list, and they'll just start making those automatic calls for you, and then also the texting. So it's an opportunity for you to say, hey, I know I'm not going to do this. If I had to hire someone to do this, how much would it cost? This is one of those things, Matt, that I would say, look at what the cost is, and then say, how many applications am I going to get? How many, conversions am I going to get? Is it worth it? That I would look at something like that.
Oh, hey, Jessica, this is maybe the AI coordinator from Dream Team at First Option Mortgage. Lee Sykes asked me to give you a call. You started a loan application in our online portal, but didn't complete it. Just so you know, this call may be recorded for.
So this goes through like an abandoned loan application. So how many times does that happen, on your website where somebody starts a loan application, they don't finish it, then you can use Macy 365 to be able to handle those. So those are the kind of things, Matt, that I think, as an industry, we need to start looking at. Where does it make sense to use this? What part of the process should we use this in? And so if you're interested, again, this is on there. You can check out Macy 365, and they'll set up a demo call for you. So it's one of those things. Okay. Questions? I'm just looking.
We're getting into one of the things. I don't know if we're going to get to it. One of the things that, has kind of been on my mind lately, which is security of stuff that we're putting into AI. And I know we're not going to hit on it too much here today, but if you are a business owner and you are allowing people underneath you to use AI to do stuff, you do need to have some policies and procedures starting to think about putting around it, right? Because it's gotten to a level, and I've seen it live in action, right? Where I've walked into an office and I see people throwing, tax returns into ChatGPT to say, calculate the income for me, right? It's not secure guys. And so we do need to start thinking about what does it look like as a business owner to put some policies and procedures around the use of AI inside our office. And so just while this is such a great and exciting thing that we're on, like I said, we're just at the beginning stages of security, data protection, all that needs to be considered as well. Consumer protection, all that needs to be considered as we're starting to develop this. And the idea of just throwing a bunch of stuff into a chat GPT. We just want to make sure that we're doing this with people's data integrity in mind as well.
Yeah, and if you're, head of an organization and you're listening to this and it's one of those things, I think, Matt, having an AI task force to look at that and look at those different areas as far as what you need to have for your policies and procedures, even in state exams, we're starting to see some of the state exams to where, and I know you just had Alex on, an attorney, talk about, some of the things that you need, and that's on the Non-Del Influencer podcast. But having a conversation about that, what that looks like now is important because, ChatGPT it's open source, which means anyone can literally access that information. And so having an idea whether if you're going to start using as an organization a lot of AI tools, setting it up to where there's ways you can do it where it's blockchain, which is protected. And different things you can do as far as the redundancies. And so, setting a task force, and that honestly is probably something as an industry that we need to start having some of those work groups, Matt, and conversations about what that looks like, because we don't really know. Right?
Yeah, and Glenn just made an excellent point in the comment section here, right? Like which as you were doing the demo of the phone calling, there's some annoyance that could go along with that, right? I mean, there is just human nature, like who is this person calling? Why am I not talking to a human being? And Glenn feels like it's about 70% of them are thankful for contact. I don't know if the other 30 feel like they're getting bugged, but try it out for yourself to see what that experience looks like before you release it to your consumers, right? Because you don't want to annoy your customer, right? And for me, like I know exactly what it sounds like when an AI calls me because there's that delay after I pick up and I say hello. And if there's more than a 2 second delay, I hang up, right? I'm not even listening to anything. So just try it out as an experience first as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And Glenn, so yes, UWM has their MIA, which is similar to the Macy 365.
Yeah.
So those are great tools. Okay. So I have some handouts for you. There are some AI tools that we've created that you can get. You can scan it. I'm going to send copies. So we'll send a copy of the recording and send everything to you tomorrow. And then also, when I started doing a lot around AI, talking about AI training, doing webinars like this, and coming up with the different tools, Matt, I kept getting an email saying, okay, what was that one? And what can I use? So I honestly just created a directory. It's a free directory. You can go there. It's aibeehive.com. And it has hundreds of different AI tools. We're constantly adding new ones there. We now have an app that's on your phone. And the nice thing about the app, Matt, is you can actually set up a free account and you can go and bookmark the AI tools that you like. And then when you log back in, you can come back to them. So you don't have to go and research them again. And it'll be out on the Android. Hopefully by next week, we'll have it out on the Android. So, but just some different things for you to help you as far as kind of navigating through this world of AI, where it makes sense, where your questions are coming from. And if you are getting other tools, let us know. If you're getting tools that are working for you, by all means, let us know. And so
this
Matt,
is going to be one of those things, Ginger, where everyone's going to have an opinion about which one's best.
yes.
Right. And there will be at the end of it, there will be winners and there will be losers and there will be stuff that works and stuff that doesn't work. But ultimately, we're all in a trial and error period right now, essentially, right? And so the more you try, as long as it's not costing you an arm and a leg, give it a whirl, see if it fits what you don't. If you don't like it, don't be married to it.
Yeah.
Move on. There's 1,000 other options. And so that's probably the best advice I have for everyone today.
Yeah, and feel free to share, feel free to share what's working for you too. So Matt, I want to thank you. I know FirstFunding is always at the forefront as far as bringing education to the community, to our non-del lenders. So I want to thank you for that.
Oh, this is AI Matt. This isn't even real Matt. This is AI Matt. So
Hey, Matt. Hey,
yeah.
when can we tell? So if there's anything, just let us know what upcoming topics you want as well, because we like to do these, once a month. We don't have anything scheduled for September yet. We'll get something on the schedule. But let us know what it is that you need, because, we want to bring you that value as well. So thank you guys so much for joining us. Matt, as always, thank you. And I'll send you all the recording and all the follow-up, and you'll get that tomorrow.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Ginger.
Thanks, guys. Bye.